Hey buds, today we smoked two strains it would be pretty strange to eat for breakfast.
We cover news stories ranging from groups of people who are wanting that weed to. Does that say butt tokes?
Yep. And a conversation with...
Good Buds Isaac about video game trends.
All this and more today on the Good Buds podcast.
Let's toke 'em smoke 'em robots.
Welcome to the Good Buds podcast, the show where good buds smoke good buds and talk about them. I am Curtis.
I am Shank.
And this is episode 60, airing Monday, November 15th, 2021, on Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, and many more. Thank you for joining us.
Before we start, I'd like to thank Lumen Spot and My High Shop for sponsoring this episode and all the other ones before it. Check out their links down below in the description, and we will talk more about them later. For now, Curtis, how you doing?
I am doing all right. We can't talk about that. Not safe for work.
No?
I had an interesting weekend.
That's good. That's good. Well, you were planning for a getaway, right? So you had to make some preparations.
Sure, preparations. Yes, that's what I was doing.
Yeah, don't forget to pick up preparation H as well.
My hemorrhoids are in order.
Yeah, but they might not be later.
I told them to balance themselves out. I'm running like 4 and 4 right now, so that way it's like an even distribution, like a heated seat, you know?
It's like a four-leaf clover.
It's like a 4-bum, you know?
Oh my god, yes. Yes.
That reminds me of the last time I took 4 bumps off a bum. But I digress. Shank, how are you doing today?
Man, I'm doing absolutely fantastic. I picked up a bunch of goodies. I got some candies, some cookies, some different strains. That's fantastic. I've got a really fantastic classic strain to smoke today on the podcast. I'm excited for. I'm stoked to share that with the buds at home. But before we do get to that, as always, this is the point where I say check out our Facebook, our Instagram, and our Twitter page where we post some really great behind-the-scenes content and some funny shit regularly. While you're there, click that subscribe button, really helps us out. You can also jump onto our Discord for some great conversation, and we check in there daily. We will have links downstairs for you in the description. You can check them out at any point, but don't click off this tab or whatever. Keep listening.
You can click off the tab. The tab will still be there. It don't matter. You can do whatever you got
It'll
to
open
do. And
another tab! Oh my god! Future!
Yeah, and it don't matter. And while you're doing stuff like that, you can also check out our Patreon page. Our Patreon page, we got stuff on there where you can like donate. We got several tiers you can choose from, including behind the scenes content exclusive for the Patreons and the ability to listen in on the show live. You'd pretty much like that, pretty much. And again, links are downstairs below. You can join us for as low as $1, and you can join our other awesome patrons, such as Mr. Isaac and Mr. Benji Bills. I'm Italian now. Deal with it.
Number one, I love the commitment, and number two, he's absolutely fucking right. We appreciate our patrons very, very much. Thank you so much for donating to the show, but we also appreciate all of you buds at home for just coming along, clicking that subscribe button, clicking that like button, and just, like commenting, getting in touch with us, letting us know how you feel about the show. It's really good for us. Helps us out a lot.
And to remember to share with other buds, so that way we can have more buds listening in. I am Russian now.
Duh. Do you want to smoke? So, Curtis, what do you say? We want to get on with the reviews?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yet.
Good bud reviews, good bud.
Do you have gnats in your room or something? Is there an issue, Shank?
Oh, dear God. So, Curtis, what will you be burning today?
Well, Shank, today I am going to be smoking on some tiramisu.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, tiramisu, that very, very fancy cake that I knew comes from Italy.
We knew that.
We totally knew it
Googling
comes from Italy, guys.
Italy.
It does not come from France or Japan.
Nope.
It's
Nope.
Italy.
It's Italian.
Italian. See, that's why I was doing the thing.
Curtis
Fine.
was a little confused because it's not pasta, so he just
I didn't think it came from there.
didn't put two and two together.
Regardless, this is tiramisu, which is a hybrid strain. It is originally bred from Cali Connection, and the phenotype that I'm smoking on today was grown by Backpack Boys and 5 Points LA. This was grown in California and shipped all the way here for me to enjoy. Very nice, very nice. It is a nice little cross of wedding cake and gelato number 45, which we've had wedding cake and we've had multiple different strains of gelato before. All
Yes, we have.
fantastic. Fantastic together, hopefully. This strain is tested at 23.77% THC and 0.09% CBD. So, nice little bits of both.
Nice.
Now, the tiramisu. The buds are a semi-dense and crunchy kind of bud. They are medium-sized, but none of that matters. 'Cause, fuck. These nugs, color-wise, are the most darkest fucking green on some of the parts that I've seen them. And the stuff that's deeper than that is purple.
Purple.
You get some purple stuff in here.
Purple.
Very nice. You can look at some other pictures online, or you can look at my pictures online. It don't matter. It's purple.
We'll get to that.
It's literally there's no in between. It's either purple or dark green. And if it's not that, then it's one of the nice clumps of these squiggly neon orange hairs that they have just all around. It's just like little patches, like little coral growing on the bottom of the ocean.
Oh.
But they're just neon orange hairs. And finally, it is fucking caked with a layer of trichomes.
Got that cake.
Seriously, serious cake. The crystallization on this thing is insane. Just a huge amount of these sugary, sparkling crystals. Fucking, the entire thing is dusted. They're breaking off. They're coming off, but they're also sticky. The whole nug is sticky now. Oh boy!
I wish I had cake.
And it's
but I
all
have,
the way
like,
through and
muffins.
inside. What's that?
Said I wish I had cake, but I got like muffins, man.
It's
Curtis,
all
you
good,
do
man.
know
It's
the
okay.
Muffin Man. You do know the Muffin Man.
We all know the Muffin Man, but today I'm talking about cakes, like ogres, layers.
Layers.
But this, as for the smell that I have today, for the smell, in the smelly jar where it's smelly.
That was a solid like brrr kind of inhale on that one.
I rolled the nostril. I learned that Spanish people do that.
Oh my God.
But the smell itself is very subtle. However, it's very sweet and good, but it also has a strange nutty earthiness to it. And this actually kind of makes it smell a bit like chocolatey and nutty at the same time. And this is paired with the slightest background of like this creamy, gassy smell as well. It kind of smells like vanilla kerosene, which is going to be the name of my new metal band, so you can't steal that.
Nope. Hashtag stolen.
Hashtag not being stolen. Vanilla
No.
kerosene for life.
No one's allowed to take that.
But yeah, it's like this weird... It honestly almost smells like fucking a chocolatey, creamy cake with a bit of gasoline in it.
Nice.
Like someone... Like, you know,
Hardcore.
one of my exes trying to kill me or some shit.
It's legit. We've all been there.
Exactly. A little kerosene in the fucking tiramisu.
Yeah,
No one would ever
kerosene,
expect it.
Tiramisu. No, yeah, no one ever sees it coming.
But with that all being said and described, Shank, what are you going to be smooking for us today?
I will be smoking a very, very classic OG strain. This is Skunk. Probably don't eat it for breakfast. Or really any time of the day. I mean, some people say it tastes like raccoon. Those people
heard
also know. Those people also know what raccoon tastes like. So
Bastards.
it is what it is.
Raccoons are adorable.
Raccoons are adorable. Those little trash pandas. Leave them alone. Anyway, this weed. Speaking of beautiful, this weed is one of them. Now, just a little background information. This strain hails from the 1970s. It was originally grown by Sacred Seed Company. By selectively breeding Afghani, Acapulco Gold, and Colombian Gold. This specific phenotype was grown by a private grower and generally donated to me, so I could smoke it and review it on the podcast. Thank
You mean generously?
Yeah,
Because generally he like marched up forward to you and he's just like, here you go, Sergeant.
that too. He was like, "Soldier, take this and smoke it." But no, yeah, it was generously donated to the show. I appreciate you, thank you, donor. And also, it's gorgeous, man. it's one of those, like yours, it's very similar to yours. It's a dark, 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 beautiful shade of green. It's very deep, dark, like that color, like almost forest green that I really enjoy. With loads of browns coating the outside of it from a very generous coating of red hair. That's all over the outside. It makes the overall tone of it a very orangey brownish, kind of mixed with a forest green, which is lovely, lovely, lovely. Now, they're good medium-sized nuggets, so you can grab like just a nug and bust it up, and it's enough for a joint, if not a little bit more than a joint, which is something I like. And they have a very good density to them, so that they're very firm. Like when you squeeze them, they're not spongy, they're not like soft, they're not loose like a lot of Homestone can be or anything like that, but they're nice and tight, gorgeous buds, like very tight, very good density. They look a little bit wilder than most of the strains that I get, because mostly I get the store-bought processed, strains and everything else. They're very carefully manicured and meticulously taken care of. So it's a little bit wilder than that, which kind of gives it usually, like, it gives it a special beauty, just having that wild tone to it.
Right.
And just over the outside of the entire thing and inside through the cracks, when you break it open, it has loads of a nice amber-colored crystal that just adds to the overall brown tone. Kind of doesn't give it that caramelized look that some of the strains have when they're this dark, but it's a very powdery kind of amber-colored crystal, which makes the brown pop even more, and I love the look. It's, to me, one of those really favorable qualities for the weed to have that nice dark, heavy, heady look. It makes them look like they're going to be potent before you even touch them, and I love that. So now for the smell of this strain, it's called Skunk. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Well, I don't need to. I'm just gonna sniff it 1 second. Let's see if I can roll my sniffs like Curtis does. But no, I can't. Hold on. No, didn't.
That was just a snort.
Yeah, no, I can't get the technique. I can't do it. I'm gonna have to practice. Oh wow! I did not need to put my nose in the bag. I didn't need to do it, but I did it. It's burning. Whew. Okay, but anyway, Skunkadunk.
Skunkadunk.
Skunkadunk. So last week I had a pretty skunky strain, a very, very skunky strain with the Green Giant that I smoked. It had that kind of skunky tone to it, but compared to this, that is a rosebud. Does not have, like, this is a robust stank of skunk. Comes off the bud with a really strange hint of like a sweet diesel sweetness kind of hiding in the background. Like it's like a gassy kind of like sharp chemical note in the background of it. But overall, it reminds me of the really dank strains that it's really hard to find now because the stores tend to go towards the traditional view of cannabis where it's like the nice light green bud with the nice like well trimmed and well manicured, and like they have a specific, like, they're not, most weed that you buy from a store, when you open the jar, it doesn't punch you in the room. Like, it's not like it basically doesn't, a giant fist doesn't come out and hit the air in the room and be like concussive. But this strain is, and it's really nice, and it stinks up the area in a really nice way when I open that bag. I pull open the bag, and even now that I've closed it and put it back on my desk, it still has a very nice skunky kind of stanky note to it. And yeah.
Well, it's nice that we both got some pretty good strain. I mean, I got that nice sweetness. You got that skunky skunkness.
Oh, hell yeah. And obviously I'm excited to try them. But as usual, before we try them, I need to remind the buds at home to check out our YouTube channel. Because if you're not already on there, or like if you're not already on our YouTube watching the video, where you can see these videos floating behind you, like look at them, they're behind our head and gorgeous. Subscribe while you're here. You should go and check out our Instagram if you don't want to do the whole visual format. And you can see pictures of these nugs that we post at Good Buds Podcast. We share these weekly so that you can see the strains we're smoking, and you can, take a look at them, give them a like, give us a follow while you're there, because we make announcements and all kinds of stuff that you will definitely want to see.
Oh, yeah. And while you're there, if you want a little bit more content coming across your feed, you can check out my personal Instagram over at GoodBudsCurtis. I post some behind-the-scenes content of me editing the videos, while I also take some massive bong rips.
He is absolutely true about those bong rips. They're, like, huge. But that aside, you can check me out if you want over on my page at GoodBudsShank, where I, post weird esoteric videos of me smoking from my pipe or my bong or joints or whatever it is, whilst listening to elevator music and working on graphic stuff, visual stuff, whatever. And, give us a follow while you're there, because, like we said, we make our announcements there, we post all kinds of fun stuff, and we would really love if you would join us.
Absolutely. But with all of that being said, I have a bong packed right here, ready to go.
And I have a bong pack right here, ready to go.
And with all of that, hopefully the buds at home, you also have your bongs packed, your bowls packed, your joints rolled, your blunts rolled, your vapes ready, your rigs ready, whatever it is, edibles,
Take a bite.
go ahead, take them now, take a bite. It is time to blaze it, Tokes Kaboke.
Tokes, whoa.
Ooh.
Mm.
Ooh.
Damn. So, Curtis, brother, how's that hitting you? Man, you got a cloud in your room right now. Wow. You
Yeah,
at home
that
can't
was-
see his office camera right now, but he literally, it looks like a fog bank just moved in from fucking New England. It's like the mist.
Yeah, it literally just fucking smoked out my entire room.
Yeah, that was wild, bro. Like, I've seen you take some big tokes, but that, like, wow. If you
That
want subscribe
didn't
to our
feel like
YouTube
that.
channel, when we get to 100 subs, we're gonna be doing that face reveal. So get on it if you buds want to see that kind of thing happen.
But yeah, it's fucking shit. Heavy, good smoke, good flavor.
Mhm.
Fucking kind of hit the back of my throat a lot.
Yep.
Whew, very. I can feel it in the face, head already a lot. Shit. I mean, in terms of taste, it was just sweet, smooth, semi-chocolatey, but fuck, that's like immediate activation.
Oh wow. Well, judging by the size of that cloud, yeah, I'd say so. Like
But-
the bomb dropped.
I might have just overhit, but yeah. Well, let's take a double. Let's see what happens. Shank, how was your strain?
Honestly, it's delicious. It is nice and earthy. It's very earthy, like very, very much so. And it's got a very gassy, kind of skunky flavor to it that I really kind of like. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy it. Some people wouldn't, but it's an enjoyable taste to me, and it hits really smoothly, but it's really bold, and it has a good head hit, like a good head rush. Like I feel it in my brain right now. It is super duper tasty and bold, and with that skunk, it just sticks around. Like I smell skunk like in my room right now. Like it's like people are, if my windows were open, like blowing my fan out without a filter of any kind, the people walking by in my neighborhood would be like, "Wow, that smells like skunk." Very desperately, somebody hit a skunk on the road. But man, it's good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Second
love
it,
that.
same shit. I'm just clam baking my room now.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Now, obviously, like, super tasty, super, super good, and these are really great so far. But before we burn more, Curtis, what does it say about these strains?
Yeah, we got to figure out online reviews from online opinions from other stoners who are online, because we are other stoners online giving our opinions to the online.
Opinions.
So, the tiramisu doesn't have much online in terms of reviews and stuff, even though it is, a strain that's sold quite around a little bit.
Yeah.
However, from what I have found, it seems to be a mildly relaxing high with a heavy cerebral high, which makes sense. It's good for chilling out, and it's noted as being a dessert weed, or being a strain that's good for the end of the day. One of those nice, relax, chill out.
Nightcap.
Exactly. You still have some energy, but you don't really want to do anything type of strain.
Yeah. That's
So
cool.
not exactly a sleepy strain, but just like the relax, chill out, enjoy your day because
The
you already did a lot.
laid-back evening time strain.
No word on dry mouth or munchies, so we'll have to figure out on that. As always, snacks and bevs on deck.
Yeah.
But what are they saying about your strain, Shank?
Well, for the skunk, it's an old ass strain, so it was easy. You could spit in any direction on the internet and find a review for it. Overall, I broke a bunch of them down into the fact that it is happy, euphoric, and hungry. Those are the three main thing that every review site said. You will get hungry, you will get happy, and you will be all euphoric. And it's funny because Euphoria, I thought Euphoria was a version of happy, but it is what it is. But that's pretty much it across the board. They say that it is a cerebral high that many call goofy and fun, which I like. I love goofy and fun because generally that's how I'm perceived, so I like to feel that way. And they do say that it causes some dry mouth and some munchies, but it isn't a particularly sleepy strain, so it'll be good for if you want to stay awake and get shit done, but you make sure that you have your chips and your beverages nearby, like I do.
And make sure you have your joints nearby as well, just like me and just like Mr. Shank over here.
It's true.
Because we are seasoned stoners.
Garlic powder. Yeah.
Absolutely. But before we do what these joints were meant to do and blaze it, we got to take a quick little dry hit to see if we can get any extra flavor profile.
Good buds, ASMR moments.
Huh.
How's that taste, Curtis?
Barely anything. Slight bit of sweetness, slight bit of some stuff, but not a whole lot of flavor, really, coming through that. I just want to smoke this now. Shank, how about you?
Piney. I'm getting some pine. A little bit coming through that I did not notice at all before. Skunkiness is still there in its full potent glory. But like when in the flavor on my lips, when I kind of smacked my lips a little bit there and kind of got the flavor, like it was like there was pine, like a pine tree almost kind of flavor there, so the pinene or whatever. But yeah, it's so subtle that I barely noticed it above everything else. So, but yeah, like Curtis said, I really would like to try this in its proper format, and we all know what that means.
What that entails, and I am going to say it is 4:20 somewhere. Hopefully you have your joints rolled, your blunts rolled, your vapes ready, your rigs ready, your bongs packed, bowls packed, edibles. You can take another bite, or you can put it away. It does not matter. For everybody else, it is time to blaze it. Tokes kaboke.
Tokes kaboke.
Ooh. That lit super quick.
Nice.
Super quick. And it tastes pretty similar to the bong hit. Maybe a little bit more of that like chocolatey, creamy flavor as well. A little less of the gas. Still pretty sweet. Yeah, kind of just tastes like a fucking cake.
Oddly enough, mine is actually kind of stronger through the joint. Yeah, it has more punch to it through the joint. I think it's probably just an airflow constriction kind of thing. But its flavor is very similar. I'm getting a little bit more of that piney kind of flavor through, like, in notes, but it is still skunky dunk. Skunky dunky dunk.
Skunky donkey.
Skunkity dunky dunky dunk. Skunkity dunky doo. But yeah, it's so yeah, like I was saying before, man, I'm stoked because I grabbed some cookies and some candies, some yummy yums.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and like I haven't for a while.
Now, were these from the dispensary or were these from your private grower friend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah. So I got so from a private grower friend. But some of them, and the other ones were from the store. The cookies were from the store. They're chocolate cookies, and I'm very much looking forward to eating them. And the other candies are from my friend, and they are also they're from an establishment that is a legal establishment that I have no affiliation with.
Right.
But they long story. I ended up with these candies, and so they're amazing looking. I haven't eaten them yet, but one of them is a fudge type chocolate. The other one is a white chocolate candy, and they are like insanely strong. They're like 100 something milligrams THC. One of them's like they're crazy. They're crazy strong. So it's going to be an experience when I have them and when I try them and everything else. But I'm excited for it. I think one of them is. Honestly, I can't remember the names of them. I'm gonna have to update the buds. Maybe in the interview section I'll remember, but
get an update. Hopefully, when Shank's memory gets jogged.
But they're in the other room, and I don't want to grab them. We're recording a podcast right now, so they can wait.
Exactly. We're recording a podcast, and that's time and money and effort, and the way that we get that is from our fun, wonderful Wunderbar ad spot.
Do you like fashionable and unique clothing? Do you like things that shine super bright when exposed to light? Do Do you like discounts? Do you like advertisements that ask, "Do you like?" over and over, knowing there is no direct way for you to answer back? If you answered yes to all of these questions, or even just the first 3, check out lumenspot.com for some lit clothing and accessories, and use the code GoodBudsPodcast at the checkout for 50% off and free shipping. Thank you, Lumenspot, for sponsoring us, and thank all of you for listening. Check it out today with the link below in the description.
Thank you, Lumenspot. And
Absolutely, thank
with
you.
all of that, we have to now get into weed news worldwide. And our first story today in weed news worldwide is going to be
The first story for today is going to be the
the Herkadoo and the Burkadurka. So anyway, our first story comes today from marijuanamoment.com or .net. Sorry, links are downstairs below in the description, or in the description of wherever you're watching this for. It could possibly be on the side. It could possibly be above, but that would be ridiculous.
The link is somewhere. It's not hard. It's not far to look. It's
Correct.
right.
So what we have today is quite an important gathering of people in terms of cannabis enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the fact that 24 governors call on Congress to pass a cannabis banking reform through a defense bill.
Yeah.
So essentially what this is breaking down to, for those who may or may not know, what is happening is soon that there is going to be something passing called the National Defense Authorization Act, which has a whole bunch of legal shit that I don't feel like getting into.
Shenanigans.
Oh, exactly. Legal shenanigans, which beget legal shenanigans.
Yeah.
Now, the way that most things in American Congress happens to work is if one of those big bills is going forward, hey, this is what we're pushing for. We want this. Everybody should get this. But then in that, law, there's also this and this and this and these little subcontracts.
They'll tack things on there just to kind of be like, yeah, well, this is going to pass anyway, and just throw it on there. It's fine.
Exactly.
No one's even going to read it. Just put it on there.
No one's going to read it. So you know what? Screw it.
Put it on there.
Yeah.
I'll sign it.
Yeah. We'll take that territory or whatever. Sure, give that land to Idaho or whoever wants it.
Yeah, you own your backyard pool, your backyard, your neighbor's backyard pool now. It's whatever.
Exactly. Oh yeah, everybody in Congress gets a $15 an hour raise.
Yeah.
But anyway, so since they have this national defense or this National Defense Act going out, 22 governors from both from the states, the territories, as well as the mayor of Washington, D.C., have all combined together to put forth a document stating that they want added to this Defense Act a banking bill that would bring equal opportunity to cannabis businesses, essentially, on a federal level. And this is known as the Secure and Fair Enforcement Banking Act, otherwise known as the Safe Banking Act. Which we have talked about this a couple times before, as this has been passed by the House of Representatives, but is still stalled up in the Senate as of right now.
Correct, yeah.
Now, we've also talked about individual states who have tried putting forth their own individual agendas, so that way they can try to get it, at least on a state level, where cannabis businesses can be banked and regulated similarly. So they're trying to just do it at the federal level, which would make it easy for any state trying to convert to recreational.
Well, it's hard to do on a state level because a lot of state banks need to comply with federal regulations and stuff like that, and those federal regulations saying that cannabis proceeds and drug proceeds are illegal, they can't take them knowingly, right? So it sucks for them until the government does what Curtis is talking about now.
Exactly. Which, again, it makes it easier for any state who's trying to transition to recreational or even medical, and on top of that, when or if it becomes federally legal, it's easier for anybody, and it's already on the system, already ready to go. Oh, yeah. Now, this Banking Act, like I said, it just makes it safe for cannabis users to not have to be cash-only businesses, allows them to open up to be credit cards, fucking deposits, payrolls,
not have to carry massive amounts of cash in public places to bring them from location to location in order to do any kind of business. which
While
is
also having,
extremely dangerous.
not to mention having a large amount of cash and a large amount of cannabis in one location.
Which is also extremely dangerous.
Yes. So might as well just make it, as card-based as you possibly fucking can.
Safe and legal. If I like the one of the things I fucking love about the store that I go to for my cannabis is I could walk in with my debit card and
Yep.
tap, boop, and I got my weed.
Exactly.
I'm
And
out.
that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
So there's a couple governors, like I said, who have signed a bill who are trying to get this passed through the Senate and tacked onto the National Defense Administration Act, and hopefully it would pass, therefore making it federally legal for banking of cannabis specifically, and
Nice.
a couple other
Yeah.
a couple other things in that bill specifically.
Yeah.
Again, it's an asterisk within an asterisk within an asterisk. So
Probably miscellaneous things that are restricted and stuff like that that are affiliated with cannabis production.
if you'd like to read up more on it, the link is downstairs in the description, or like I said, wherever our description is, you're allowed to check there. You can click on the link. You can read the whole story. They have links that'll take you to each individual act. So if you want to read the entire thing for yourself, be informed. However, I will end this by giving the list of all the governors who are involved. The governors from Colorado, Alaska, which Governor Jared Polis is the governor of Colorado who is leading the entire brigade of governors, I should state. And after him, of course, Colorado, the fucking first state to
yeah.
or recreationally legalize it, and where now most of their tourism and fucking economy comes from,
Big bongo dollars.
of course. But it's the state of Colorado, followed by the governor of Alaska, California, Connecticut, Illinois, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, AO, Minnesota, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Dakota, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Utah, Virginia, Washington, Wisconsin. As I said before, the mayor of the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C., and on top of all of that, we also have the governor of the territories of the U.S. Virgin Islands and Guam.
Now I heard that when they said Michigan, right? Was one of those.
Yes.
Now I heard an influential politician, Curtis from the Good Buds podcast, had a statement to make about that. Now, what was your statement again?
Sweet, dude.
Cool. All right.
End
awesome.
quote.
End quote.
Actually, the lighter
Make sure
flick
to
is
flick
part
the lighter.
of the quote.
Yeah, the lighter is part. Yeah, flicks lighter. Sweet dude. Flicks lighter to light joint. End quote. That reminds me of my wife playing Animal Crossing because she has her animals so that their catchphrase is hits joint, because you can change their catchphrase to whatever you want.
Yeah.
So they'll come up to her and be like, "Hey Pepper, it's been a long time since I've seen you. Hits joint." But that's
So
great.
anyway, news stories.
Yeah,
Shank?
no, so news stories, but actually it's funny because you were talking about a group of influential people that are trying to get cannabis bills passed and everything like that. I know, this is in America, right? So I know of an even more influential group of people that are also trying to get cannabis bills passed. That's right. More
who?
influential than politicians when it comes to getting laws passed. That's right. Celebrities.
Oh shit! Fuck yeah! Let's go.
Yeah. So, essentially, the story comes from thegrowthop.com. Links, once again, wherever the hell you'll find them. But this story is about how cannabis advocates Seth Rogen and Sarah Silverfish, Sarah Silverman, lend their support to new Cannabis in Common group campaign. So essentially, they've started an email campaign. They want you to keep emailing and calling your basically elected officials over and 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 over until they essentially get the idea that maybe these people aren't going to stop and fucking, kind of legalize cannabis.
Legalize cannabis.
Once they realize that enough people are persistent enough with it, they tend to, bow to the will of the people, as the government is supposed to do, because they are representatives of the people. So Seth Rogen obviously is a very outspoken political guy. He's talked about cannabis legalization on a lot of his interviews. We are huge fans of him here at the podcast. Like, the Buds, we love him. He's fallible human, he can do wrong, but I mean, as far as it goes, he's a pretty damn good representative, right? And he seems to want good things. So He suggested that he suggests in the spot that legalizing weed federally makes perfect sense given that such a move would be popular among a very large majority of the citizens and voters, which is true.
Of
Polled
course.
recently, recent polls basically said currently it's upward of 70% of Americans are essentially in favor of legalizing cannabis immediately. But the
Right.
government has to obviously drag their feet. Politicians who vote morally when they get into Senate and everything else, which is wrong because they're supposed to vote with the will of the people. Their own
Correct.
morals and ethics aside, they go with what the people vote because that's how democracy works. Like when
Right.
you become an elected
Correct.
official. So basically, the will of the people. So far, 70% of people want them to put some kind of cannabis legalization in place. So they've been quoted as saying, Seth Rogen was quoted as saying, here's the thing about elected officials. They actually spend most of their time worrying about getting reelected. So when their inboxes and their phone lines are blowing up with constituents all rallying behind something specific, that is when things actually start to happen. So if you contact your local politician and you're vocal enough, like the reason why cat
Right.
bylaws get passed is because Sally Mae from Subdivision B has nothing but time on her hands and is constantly calling and harassing her senator about the cats in her neighborhood. And she's getting all of her neighbors to do it too because she's harassing them until they harass too. And so shit gets done about it. The governments are like, all right, we'll pass a bylaw. You've called us 8,000 times this month. You've emailed us 8,000 times. We get it. We'll pass a bylaw. Keep your cats indoors, or you'll get a fine. Like that's the best.
It does. It does three things. One, it makes the people happy, which, keeps you
Yeah.
in your job right now.
Yeah.
Two, it makes the people happy, so you get reelected because you made them happy.
Exactly.
Or you can promise them the thing that they want.
If
you
I say
reelect
I'll
me,
vote for
then
a
this will happen.
politician, if I say that I'll vote for a politician who legalizes cannabis, and a politician legalizes cannabis, I will continue to vote for that politician because
Exactly.
they did that for it's a good dude.
Right. And third and most importantly, it'll get them to stop fucking calling you.
Exactly.
If you
It'll
want
shut
them to
up.
leave you alone, do the thing they want.
I mean,
Pretty
who
basic.
hasn't done something stupid or done something like that they normally wouldn't do just to get people to shut the fuck up about it?
Now, mind you, that implication does only go to a certain extent. No does mean no sometimes.
No means no. No means yeah. No.
No
and
means
then,
no.
Yeah. No means no. Like, hold on. More specifically, consent is 100% necessary. No arguments. Period. Thumbs up.
Exactly. Yes. But that's the thing. When you're a politician, you consent to being a public figure, so he's
Well, that's the thing
consenting to that.
if I run as a
so therefore, it's
politician-
okay.
If I run as a politician, I might stand for or support certain things that other people support. But if my constituents voted against my personal beliefs, I would represent them the way that they want to be represented. I wouldn't go to the Senate and say, yeah, my constituents voted, like 90% of them voted to say that they wanted cannabis legal, but I still think it's wrong, so I'm going to say no. Which is something that they can do. And
Exactly.
they do sometimes do that. Even though their people vote, like 70% of them are like, we like weed. They're like, well, I don't like weed, so no. And then they vote that way when it comes to the important point of the conversation, and suddenly
Mitch
the law
Connell.
doesn't get passed. Yeah, Mitch Connell. And sorry, I coughed there. But but frankly, this is really interesting because it's not just Sarah Silverman and Seth Rogen. They are two of the people that are essentially getting behind this bill. The many
Campaign.
the campaigns that are going on. You also have a long list of other celebrities. Basically, I know that they were saying that among the 150 signatories currently, were the rappers Drake, Killer Mike, and 2 Chainz. And 2 Chainz knows expensive shit. NHL Hall of Famer Deion Sanders,
Nice.
NBA greats Kevin Garnett and Al Harrington,
Hell yeah.
and civil rights activist Weldon Angeles.
Nice.
Yeah, and that is not the Al Harrington of the Wacky Waving Arm Flailing Inflatable Tube Man. I thought it was, but I googled it. I was wrong.
Gotcha.
But
He's just a large man who
Just
also
a-
flails his arms.
that's absolute. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. He might work. He might work there now that he's retired. No idea. But I don't know what he's doing. Didn't Google that. But as part of the new Cannabis in Common campaign, cannabis business partners and organizations lending their support include the Cannabis Certification Council, Canopy Growth Corporation, Columbia Care, the Council for Federal Cannabis Regulation, Kronos Group, Last Prisoner Project. Yes, shout out LPP, Last Prisoner Project. Get every cannabis fucking non-violent offender out of prison now.
Bug yeah.
The Marijuana Policy Project, and not surprisingly, Willie's Reserve, which is Willie Nelson's Willie Nelson's private charity, or public charity or whatever.
Nice.
So there's a lot of businesses and people of influence that have a lot of support behind this program. And honestly, it's a good idea to do it. Like we always say, the only way to get laws changed is to let them know that you want them changed, right? If you just sit down in your bedroom and you bitch about the fact that they keep restricting cannabis and everything else, but you're not going out and letting them know that you don't want cannabis restricted, only the people who are going there and shouting that they do want cannabis restricted are going to be heard. So you need to make sure that your voice is equal to and or louder than the people who are saying they don't like it. And there's no way to do that without actually getting a hold of them. And I'm socially awkward, so I highly recommend using an email. But don't be a dick.
Text.
Like, don't be a dick.
Them.
Like, be polite about it. Go on there and be like, hey, listen, I'm one of your constituents, and as a constituent, I strongly believe cannabis should be legal. Just don't...
Thank you for your...
Yeah,
thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I will vote for you if you assure me that you will work towards cannabis legalization. Goodbye.
Right. Yeah.
And then see what they say. You see what their statements, how their statements change in the next couple of weeks. They might be like, "Hey, I've decided that like my constituents spoke up and blah blah blah." Legalize cannabis. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. There's more to the story, but obviously you buds can go and check it out. Like I said, it's from the Growth Hub. The link is wherever the hell you will find it on the page you're looking at right now.
Nice. And also in that description, you will find the link for my next story, which comes to us from thedenverchannel.com, which is funny enough because our next story comes to us from Denver, Colorado, where Denver has begun to accept cannabis hospitality applications.
Denver, Denver, Denver.
Denver, Denver, Denver. Can't you see applications in your city for hospitality? So anyway, so this week the city of Denver will be accepting applications for cannabis hospitality business license. For the first 6 years, only social equity applicants can apply, which means applicants have to live in disadvantaged areas, have prior cannabis convictions, or meet low income requirements.
Cool.
So they're giving a fair start to those who
they're
obviously were already hurt by
lower income residents get some money back.
Those who were hurt by the same thing that is now,
legal.
Completely legal and fixed.
Yeah.
But business owners can apply for 3 different types of licenses. Hospitality, which customers can just consume inside of the building.
Yeah.
Hospitality and sales, where they can consume inside and they can offer some on-site consumption as well. Or on-site sale, I should say.
Yep.
And mobile hospitality, which is owners can operate cannabis tour buses. So essentially party buses where they can take you from dispensary to dispensary, dispensary to grow house to grow house, vineyard to vineyard, wherever they can take you, they can do tour buses. Kind of like
that's cool.
Bar hopping,
like wine tour,
wine tasting.
Yeah, that's cool. That's sweet.
So, hell yeah. Cannabis hospitality is not just about cannabis lounges and stuff like that. It's an ever-growing market, and it's the newest market within cannabis. I'm expecting to see coffee shops and spas soon, which is said by Dwayne Benjamin, the owner of Tetra Lounge.
Well, I know we've had High B&B here on the show, and they were in cannabis hospitality, saying it's a very burgeoning business, and that was like
They were in
a year ago.
Yeah, that was about a year ago, and that was in Canada.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing. I'm happy that this is opening it up for down south.
Exactly. So the Tetra Lounge that this guy is in opened in 2018 under a private members only hospitality model. So private members only cannabis club, basically.
So it's like one of those smoking lounges that you used to be able to get a membership to, like golf club / smoking lounge or whatever. You just go and sit and be like,
They do private
smoking weed instead.
They do some private cannabis events and stuff like that.
I'd love to be part of a secret society of weed.
Now the thing is, as of right now with his model and how it's being allowed to go, or how it was allowed to go, was the fact that customers can consume cannabis on his property, but they have to be a private member. Therefore, they're allowed to smoke inside of it as a smoking lounge, but he cannot sell cannabis on site. So members had to bring in their own or stuff like that. But regardless, he sees this as a way to legitimize his business and make it, strong and upcoming, as well as a whole bunch of other people who are in the same boat. There's talks of, lounges similar to smoking or hookah lounges or cigar bars. Some hotels, as we've talked about, high B&B.
Well, I loved hookah bars pre-COVID, but
pre-COVID,
sure. But no, that's amazing, man. That's like opens up a world of hospitality options.
And especially in Denver, which is already a tourist hotspot, when you can just go in and just be like, well, I'm going to go for my weed hotel. There's a weed restaurant down the street. I'm going to take this weed tour bus all the way there and stop off to get some weed.
Well, I was going to say, I definitely wanted to go. When I go down to the States, I plan on hopefully at some point in the future, if you buds click on that Patreon link, go down to the States and have a bit of an adventure road trip with Isaac and Curtis, and we want to hit a couple different states and have a big fucking road trip. And I think it'd be ballin' if we went to Denver and had one of those weed bus tours and did a live stream of that and everything else. That'd be amazing, right? So
we'd already be doing a weed bus tour, but I get you.
The whole thing. The whole thing would be a weed bus tour, but then we'd have one where none of us need to drive. Just
a weed bus tour on a weed bus tour.
Yeah,
Bus tourception.
We'd stop our weed bus tour. Yo, Doug, I heard you like weed bus tour videos, so I'd put a weed bus tour video in the middle of your weed bus tour videos.
What?
So you can weed bus tour while you tour buses.
Okay. So anyway.
Yeah, no, anyway, though, but that'd be amazing, man. I think just
sure.
yeah.
Yeah. So news story, as I said, there's pretty much nothing more to it, but if you want to check out more for it, look it up for yourself or link somewhere on the face. Shank?
Yeah.
Our last story for the day.
So for my last story for the day and the last story of the news here, this is about an Alberta company which is launching a brand new cannabis product, a new wave in the future of cannabis consumption and cannabis enjoyment. The thing that is going to take the world by storm.
Okay.
Cannabis suppository products.
Yes!
Yeah, that's right. It's near and dear to both Curtis and I's heart. Cannabis suppositories.
Farts.
Oh, farts. That's what I meant. It's near and dear to Curtis and I farts. You know what I said. But anyway, this is for both medical patients and adult use cannabis markets. So there is a company from Alberta that's a licensed producer, and it claims that it's the first company ever to make a cannabis suppository available to medical patients across Canada through its partnership with a member site, Shelter Market. Prairie Grass Incorporated, which is, there's two founding sisters who grew up on a family farm that spanned 4 generations of sustainable farming.
Right.
They started growing weed. So they made a product called Relief Pods, which is Bruce Banner. We all know the strain. If you buds haven't heard of Bruce Banner is a badass strain of weed. So it's Bruce Banner cultivar that's grown in their facility, and basically they have those provide 10 milligrams THC, while the Eve pods have 40 milligrams CBD and are made from prairie grass as outdoor hemp harvest. So they make their own hemp in house, they make their own THC in house, and they have a THC version which is called Relief Pods, and they have a CBD pod which is called an Eve pod.
Well,
That's right. So the products, which have been batch tested and safety tested, have been specifically formulated to provide localized relief with targeted dosing directly to the pelvis and surrounding region. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, so they say Healthline says that there are a ton of cannabinoid receptors in your pelvic region. So essentially, it's like the same thing as boofing a tampon with vodka, or butt chugging a beer. It's what would this be? Ass taking a toke?
No, it would be taint token.
Oh, butt bonging.
Butt bonging. Sphincter smoking.
Anal inhale. That's my new bundle, but you're not stealing it.
Rectal recreational drugs.
Recreational?
Yes.
Yeah, whatever it is, it's interesting because it's a new way to take cannabis. And they even say that suppositories are an overlooked delivery mechanism for providing effective targeted pain relief. So shoving things in your butt for medicine, it's often overlooked. A lot of people are like, I don't want to shove things in my butt for medicine. It's like, come on, man. Like, a lot of people shove things in their butt voluntarily. They can't all be wrong.
That's how you get some instant relief on some medications.
That's
Like
what I'm
if you
saying.
got some really bad like constipation and stuff, you either gotta
bro.
wait. You either gotta wait 30 minutes for the fastest X-Lax liquid form, or 5 minutes with a suppository.
Yeah.
And the
Straight
suppository comes out
Your
with
butt.
it.
Yeah. Straight up. Your butt. 100%. 100%.
But either way, the thing would be significantly good for airports.
Now,
Think
this
about
is the interesting thing as well. They say, this is interesting though, I'd like to add on, that Prairie Grass, the company, explains that cannabinoids administered vaginally or rectally. So, you could put
Either
one
or.
in both. You could get a CBD pill in the pooper, and a THC pill in the pooter.
Wait, 2 in the pink, 1 in the stink.
Oh my god! You could do that. You could put like 2 THC ones in the pink and 1 CBD one in the stink.
But no, what I'm thinking is,
This is terrible.
you're on your way to the airport. You smoke a whole bunch of weed on the way there, so you get high as fuck. You know you're going to be at the airport for a while. So right before you go through security, you go to the bathroom, you pop one of those things up your beehole, and then you walk back through security, and it's like, oh, I got nothing on me. By the time you're on your plane, that thing is fully dissolved, and your balls are high as balls.
Good to go. Yeah, see what
Your
you do
balls
though,
are higher than your
the trick
balls.
is you eat an edible, and you boof one of these so that they meet in the middle and they have a battle inside and they like fucking it like you get on the plane and you'd just be like da 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 da. Like it'd be amazing. You'd have a great time. But it's really interesting because
Throw
they
a
say-
Viagra in there just for the fun of it.
yeah, just for shits and giggles. And throw an X-Lax actually in there for shits and giggles. It's like, one time I tried...
An X-Lax and a Xanax for shits and giggles.
one time I tried nitrous. It was laced with X-Lax, though, but the whole evening was for shits and giggles.
Well, if you want
but,
shits and giggles, that's a Xanax and X-Lax.
That's true. Xanax and X-Lax. Yeah, it's called Xanax-Lax. But overall, it's really cool because this company does say that it's going to be mostly used for the medical market, but it is going to be available for the recreational adult use market. And in general, they're saying that they're gonna, they're planning on, making more different types of suppositories as time goes on. So who knows? By this time next year, we may be covering a story about their newest brand, Purple Urkel, Flintstones vitamin-shaped suppository.
Purple Urkels, did I do that?
Yeah, did I do that? Fuck, man. But yeah, no, it's really interesting. And I mean, overall, there is a little bit more to the story. There's some more quotes and everything like that. But that pretty much covers the gist of it. That's also from the Growth Op. Links, as we said, wherever you find them. And that's about it. Yeah, that's it. That's it for my story, man. I don't have
That's
much
it
more.
for news. Well, that's it for Weed News Worldwide then.
Cool. Awesome. With that said, I would very much like to thank you, Buds, for sticking with us through the news segment. Stick with us through this next segment. But before we get to it, you need to listen to this ad spot.
Hey buds, you really want to show off your love of marijuana, or just really shine at your next smoke session? You really want to go to myhighshop.com for some of the coolest cannabis clothing and accessories. They have shirts, sweats, jewelry, grinders, and even pipes made out of amethyst crystals. You can check them out using the link below and let them know I sent you by using code GoodBudsCurtis at checkout. You can save 35% off your entire order and free shipping. Again, that's code GoodBudsCurtis at checkout. Thank you to myhighshop.com, and let's get back to the show.
Thank you very much, My High Shop. Appreciate you big time.
So, Shank, how you feeling?
Yes.
Same.
I feel great, man. This is fucking
Oh.
good strain. I'm happy, man. It's a very
Same.
like when they said uplifting, it's like I know what they mean. Like I know what they mean. Like it's very good. Like obviously, I always have fun when we do the podcast. I'm always having a great time. It's just something I love to do. But when it's like, we do this late sometimes. It is very late in the evening for the buds who don't know when we're recording this right now. And like sometimes it's easy to get into that sleep funk, but I am feeling good. I'm feeling happy. I do have the munchies. I've been snacking on chips as surreptitiously as possible during the recording, but I am announcing now in the How You Feeling section that I do indeed have some munchies, so I can confirm that it's a symptom. And yeah, man, it's a great strain. I always have loved skunky strains throughout my history of smoking cannabis, and that does not stop here. Yeah. So how you feeling?
Pretty good.
It's
All right.
all right.
So yeah, I'm pretty relaxed. I don't really want to get up, but I know I have to get up, but I'm gonna get up so I can lay down, so it's all right.
Gotta get up to get down.
It's heavy cerebral high. It's solid.
Nice.
I still
Nice.
want to like be up to do stuff, but I'm also like no
More of a layback on your Switch kind of thing.
type of shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, yes on dry mouth, no on the munchies. So I have been sipping on a Pepis, and I do need to get some Wildas. But
Oh.
yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Not that bad, and that's pretty good. 10 out of 10. Would smoke some more right now because I have a bong packed right here.
Holy shit, man! What do you know? Like I have a bong packed right here as well. That's fucking crazy.
Well, then we all know
the
what
odds?
it is, what it is, what it does, what it do.
It's true.
It is time to blaze it. Tokes kaboke.
Dope.
And then we get into the conversation.
Hey buds, welcome to the conversation portion of the show. Today we once again are joined by our good bud Isaac, and we are going to be talking about trends in the video game industry that we like, don't like, that kind of thing, just whatever we feel like talking about. Yeah.
Just things in general that we've noticed through the ages about how video games are kind of shifting generation to generation. Just what
Yeah.
we've been noticing recently. But first and foremost, Isaac, how you doing today?
No.
Good. Okay,
Yes.
that's good to hear. It's good to hear.
No, Shank. Isaac. Yes.
I'm offended. I don't.
Good.
I don't-
Okay, there we go.
Shank.
Now that
That's
that's
what
out of
you're
the way. But yeah, now that that's out of the way, I know it's good to be joined by Isaac as always. It's good to have Curtis here, and we're gonna talk about this. Obviously, before we start, I need to thank you buds for being here this long, and I need to remind you once again to like, subscribe, all that stuff. You know the gist. It's around here somewhere. Click on it. We appreciate it.
And on top of that, you also know the next gist of what I'm about to say. I have a bong packed right here, still of some of that sweet, sweet tiramisu.
And I have a bong pack right here of that stanky skunk.
Still funny.
It's so funny.
Isaac, what are you going to be partaking with for us today with?
Cock cherry.
Oh,
Oh, we got a cock cherry in the
wait,
building.
dude, it's cock.
Cherry cock.
It's cock. Jeez, man, come on.
Well done. But anyway,
What?
so Isaac's got his beverage, we got our bongs packed, and hopefully you buds have your bongs packed, bowls packed, joints rolled, blunts rolled, tapes ready, rigs ready, whatever the fuck, edibles, take another
buds.
bite, or you're
Do
already
it.
high as fuck.
Do it.
Don't matter. It is time to blaze it. Toke a boke.
Tokes, bro.
Wait, did Curtis say he was smoking teriyaki?
No, tiramisu is the strain that he's smoking this week.
Tiramisu.
An Italian dessert.
It's the
We knew
Italian
that.
cake that's like
we knew
yeah,
that.
we knew it's
before.
Italian.
We knew it was
no,
Italian before.
It's that
the
dessert that's
podcast.
like brown and white swirls. It's like creamy and
Layers.
chocolatey and stuff. Layers.
layers. It's got
Remember
like a layer
when-
of like
hold on.
yeah.
Shank, well, Isaac, remember when Peter in Family Guy had to go to the Don to ask for a favor to get Lois to, call off the hit, and instead he wanted the
and
piece of
cake he was
tiramisu?
eating?
Yeah, that's what he
okay.
wanted.
Yeah.
I knew he'd understand.
That's the easiest way to get Isaac to get the reference. Yeah.
It's gotta be a Family Guy.
SpongeBob.
reference.
So yeah, Family Guy and or SpongeBob. Yeah, so that's Tiramisu is the strain that Curtis is smoking this week, so it's pretty fucking sweet. I'm smoking Skunk this week, which is it's
Skunk.
fantastic. It's much better than it sounds, but it's really good. And yeah, so obviously we are talking, like we said earlier, about video game trends in the industry that we like, don't like, have opinions on.
Right.
So
And-
Curtis, yeah,
Yeah. First of all, we're not or not so much like the games itself or how the gameplay is acting out, just
Yeah.
more or less how companies are using their power and influence to make different decisions in gaming that will change gaming in its
Yeah.
course in general.
yeah,
Now, in general, the first one that I want to talk about that definitely we were talking about this earlier in our group chat, essentially, the three
Yeah.
of us.
yeah.
Isaac had brought it up initially. So, Isaac, if you would like to go ahead and inform the people what it is that we were talking about.
Yes. So Rainbow Six Siege, or not Siege, Rainbow Six Extraction.
Yes.
When it comes out, the person
Which
who
is-
buys it.
Which is the newest Tom Clancy game that's coming out.
Yeah.
Okay. So when someone buys it, they're going to be coming out with this thing called a buddy pass that you can give to any of your friends. You can give it to more, you can give it to someone who, whoever,
Yeah.
and they can play with you during the, they don't need to own the game. They can play with you. So, for instance, like A Way Out, someone bought A Way Out. Your friend could download the demo and play with you.
Correct.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you can invite your friend to play with you, and that invitation lasts 14 days, which should be enough time for someone to actually play the game and
Get to know whether they
Give-
want to download it or
give
buy
your
it.
opinion
Yeah.
if you want to go buy it or whatnot, which I think is a great idea
Absolutely.
overall.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree.
Actually, Wolfenstein's Youngblood did this thing in their deluxe edition where if you pre-order the deluxe edition, you got a quote-unquote technically a buddy pass you can give to your friend, and they will be able to download the demo game to join and play with you, even though they don't need to own to get the game.
Huh. I didn't know Wolfenstein did that, actually.
That's fantastic.
But
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
it's a fantastic thing that they're coming out with. And yeah, I think 2 weeks is plenty of time to get a good enough handle on a game.
That's more than fair, I think, and I agree on that because it's like I know that we used to in a weekend of playing back in the day, me and my buddies on games that we would rent. We'd find out whether we wanted to buy it or not. If you play it in a weekend, you rent it for a weekend.
Oh, yeah.
You play a game and you're like, man, I want to buy this game because I'm not done playing it. And I think with Rainbow Six Quarantine doing this, it'll give a good opportunity for that to happen. Because right now, the peer pressure model, I don't like. Because I know that I love games, and I love the same games as my buds. But I hate the fact that my buds need to, convince me of when a game is good, instead of just being able to be like, hey, download it, try it, see if you like it. If you're like, no
Absolutely.
go, then don't worry about it. And if you love it, then we'll keep playing it, right? And as it stands now, if I want to try Vanguard with Isaac, I need to buy it.
Same here. I missed
yeah.
out on the beta, unfortunately, so I didn't get
well, I
that
did try
extra
the beta,
experience.
but it's
Right. You won't know how the game actually works
Yeah.
until it actually comes out.
exactly.
But you at least have a somewhat baseline. But regardless, yeah, I think that this is a fantastic thing that Rainbow Six is doing. I think it was great, like you mentioned, when A Way Out and It Takes Two, I believe, Shank, you mentioned that they were
Yeah.
the same company.
I think the same company did
Yes,
both
they
of
are.
those, yeah.
But yeah, if
Actually,
one
2K.
Oh, hell yeah. So yeah, if one person bought that game, they could give it to another person to play completely for free as long as they download the demo version, which
Exactly.
stopped you from forcing you to play online with a random person that you didn't know, or forcing your friend to pay the price, and both of you get the game. You play through it once, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But I think that this is nice that they're going to do that. Give a 2-week little period of, do I like the game? Do I want to keep playing it? It will make them more money for sure, because you're exposing more people to the game for free, and they're going to be like, I like this game. I want to play more of it. I'm going
Absolutely.
to put money into it.
Because I would be more inclined to try, if I played a game, because I like reviews and everything like that. I am a fan of reviews, but not to the extent that I implicitly trust them, because until I've tried a game, I don't know, right? Because some people are like, this is the best game ever, and then I play it and I'm like, I do not enjoy this game. You know,
That's
like,
why I
yeah.
absolutely used to love those little demo machines at like Blockbuster or Game Crazy,
or
Walmart.
the PlayStation
Just like-
magazine. I don't know if you guys are like remember this era or not,
The
but the
demo
PlayStation
disc.
magazine demo discs.
Oh yeah,
used
I
to
still
have
got
4 of
one.
them.
Yeah,
I think
I
I have 4
played.
of them still.
I lost all of mine throughout the years, but I have had so many because my stepdad would always buy me the PlayStation magazines because I loved them, and I would
Right.
get the cheat magazines too, right? That came with the game cheats, and like they always had a demo disc, and I played so many badass games that I ended up buying on these demo discs. Well, not buying because you all have heard my shenanigans about having a chipped PlayStation that I could just
Correct.
download games, but because I'm a pirate, ahoy matey, and so basically. Yeah, like, but
yeah.
I love those demo discs because it let me know what games I would and wouldn't enjoy. And my stepdad would be like, "Do you want this game?" And I'd be like, "No, I tried that on the demo disc, and I'm not a huge fan, so don't worry about it."
And demos, they still come out with those every once in a while, but mainly they're for single player games or games where you have to go a little bit further in before you unlock multiplayer or something like that.
Yeah,
So I personally believe that this buddy pass system should start becoming standard practice for online multiplayer games going forward.
yeah,
Just
I mean,
in
We're going
general.
to be taking part in that because I love Tom Clancy in
We
other
know-
games, and I'm
exactly.
pre-ordering.
We know Isaac's
Yeah.
going to get it already, so we're going to be able to play with him for up to 2 weeks whenever we do got our time to do it. But we'll have 2 weeks to get some time, play some bit of it, and be like, you know what? Fair judgment. I'll be able to buy it, or I don't want to buy it.
exactly. And
if-
that's yeah,
And I really hope that other game companies start following suit. Obviously, Activision with Call of Duty, that would be huge.
huge.
Like, being able to play
Huge.
for 2 weeks before actually being like, you know what? Yeah, I want to sink $60 and everything else into this game.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a huge
Multiplayer,
boost.
multiplayer, zombies, and probably like the first mission of the campaign.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and I
So-
think that like that's a good trend. Like
Even
I think
that's enough
obviously,
time for a week.
like video
actually.
games
2 weeks is
allowing
generous.
people to
I mean,
get
a
their
week for you,
friends.
Isaac.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But video games letting people to get their friends involved in the game is a really generous way of like reaching out to letting people know that we know that gaming is a social hobby and that like our friends we want them to play with us whatever game we're playing, and it'd be a lot easier to convince them to try games out if they didn't have to shell out money for it. That
Correct.
they like because money's hard to come by.
Now, speaking of shelling out money and speaking of online multiplayer while we're at it, specifically like FPSs, Call of Duty, Rainbow Six, Fortnite, stuff like that, what is your guys' opinions on battle passes versus microtransactions? Because we've seen a lot of variation over the years, but now it's kind of starting to get to the point where all the major games are getting to a battle pass system while having some microtransactions that just are cosmetic,
Yeah.
and pretty much any meat of the actual game you can get within a battle pass. Where do you guys sit on these?
Yeah, I was like, you can go ahead
Really
first because I know,
it really
I know
depends
my. Yeah.
on the game. For me, I mean, on Siege, I appreciate the battle pass because it's another way other than the 2 ways of earning alpha packs.
Yeah.
Because alpha packs are already a bitch enough to earn by themselves.
You either have to
get a chance at a wheel if you win, that ups your percentage on getting an alpha pack next game you win,
Or grind
you have
for
to-
renown.
or grind the renown that you get. And you don't get a lot of renown for either losing or winning a match. You get like, if you're playing a casual game, you get like 300 tops.
Yeah.
And
Took
for
me
an
al-
alpha pack, it's 5,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it took me
It
almost
used to be-
3 years to fucking get enough renown to buy a fucking 50 pack.
Yeah.
Took-
And I
That was
guess-
just a grind,
it,
but
it took me 3 weeks every day
using
with a
boosters.
booster. That's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah. And I know, like, I've been, like, I've been getting alpha packs since I started playing the game. I've never saved them up or anything like that, but I've never, and, like, it used to be 4,500 when you could get the year pass. And that
But
was
now
a
they
little
got
bit
rid of the year
easier, but then
pass.
they got rid of the year pass in favor of the battle pass, which I kind of don't like. I liked being able to buy the year pass so that I would get all 4 seasons automatically, and I would get all 4 new operators automatically, right?
It's still the same price at the end of
But
the
it
day.
is at the end of the day, it is. But I didn't like. I don't like having to grind for the extra stuff in the battle pass. I like, like I do. I don't mind it sometimes because it is fun. I have completed a couple of
It
battle
doesn't.
passes now,
Well, I
but
mean, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day if
Yeah.
you don't have
Exactly,
to grind.
yeah.
You pay that $10, you
Yeah.
automatically get the operator.
Yeah.
The rest of the battle pass is just
gravy.
bonus.
Yeah, it's gravy. Yeah, and the one thing that I feel, the one opinion I have about any kind of microtransactions or battle passes or anything else is that as long as it isn't anything game changing or game breaking, if they're not putting anything in there that gives people an unfair advantage over players who don't do it or don't pay for it,
If it's not like what
Then I'm
sports
cool with it.
games do, like FIFA or
Yeah.
or Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Not naming any names here,
yeah, no names named.
except for
But-
Pointing any
Star Wars
fucking
Battlefront
elbows,
2.
Yeah, and Star Wars Battlefront 2. But
EA
pointing any
games.
elbows, EA games, please.
pay for it to be in the game. But seriously, but
An
but
extra
no, seriously.
$10 to get to the main menu.
Yeah, but seriously though, like I'm a big fan of when games offer cosmetic things and that kind of stuff, so that if you love the game, for example, Siege, I love Siege. I had no problem
Same.
whatsoever, and have no problem whatsoever, like paying for the battle pass or paying for, like that kind of thing, because I know, for elites, yeah, because I know that it goes towards the developer working on that game. They're taking that money and they're saying, okay, this goes towards like, the money coming into the game right now is going towards working on the game and adding new things to it to keep the game alive. If I love a game, I'm willing to invest a little bit more money into it to keep it alive a little bit longer because I like playing it. But if it's like pay $100 and get this mystery unicorn that magically allows you to target every single player on the map, I'm gonna be like, dude, what the fuck, man? No, that's not okay.
The fact that a weapon like that exists in the game makes me immediately be like, I'm not
I'm
playing
not
it.
playing it anymore. Exactly. And when they're like,
Because somebody is gonna pay
Yeah.
$100 to get that.
and I like Call of Duty because at first I was kind of miffed because they were like, this new gun is in the game, but the only way to get it is through the battle pass. And I'm like, man, come the fuck on.
Or
And then they're
grind
like,
a whole bunch of this.
yeah, but then they're like, but also you can grind for it in the game if you really want to. And I'm like, okay, cool. As long as the option is there for me to grind. I don't like to grind in games. Everybody knows this. But
every once in a while.
Yeah, but every once in a while I'm willing to, especially if it's something that I'm really interested in. And if I see a gun I'm not really interested in, I'm like, fine, I just won't grind for it. No big
But
deal.
But in Modern Warfare specifically, when the Makarov pistol came out, you're like, dude, I kind of want that.
Yeah, I was like, I want that. I like the Makarov. Yeah, and I got the what is it? The shotties, the boom 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 boom. What are they?
The Marshals or whatever.
Marshals, yeah, the Marshals. I grinded to get those out too. Yeah, in Cold War.
Yeah, in Cold War.
Yeah, I grinded
So,
those
yeah.
out in Cold War, and that's the thing is I'm willing to grind for something if it's something I really enjoy, and I like when games aren't like they put out when COD puts out a new gun, they try to make that gun balanced with the other guns in the game, so it's not an unfair. This new gun claps and will kill everybody immediately, unlike what the Asval when they put in that
Yeah.
broken ammunition.
When that one was first involved,
yeah.
yeah. You get
But they
that,
usually-
you level it up pretty quick, and
Yeah,
boom.
but they tried to balance game. They try to balance the guns, right? So when they put a new
And they
one
nerfed
in,
it
it's not
eventually.
like the gun is going to give players a super unfair advantage. It's just a new gun, right? And it's like just an addition to the game, and it's not
They
like
gotta
more
work out the
powerful.
kinks.
It's not more powerful than any other gun in the game. Like especially if if I got person with a bison comes up against a person with a new gun, no matter how good the new gun is, the bison's gonna win, right? If the person's good with it, and so it's like. So they're balanced, and in that I don't mind. Now, if they were like, yeah, get the battle pass, the only way to unlock this ray gun weapon in multiplayer is through the battle pass, and there's no other way to unlock it in the game except this season's battle pass.
Correct.
I'd be like,
That's-
fuck you guys, no,
Yeah,
no,
that's
no,
bullshit.
like exactly
Now-
right, but
Black Ops 4. Oh, and I mean, the newer Call of Duties did it, but once the season was over, you were able to earn it,
Yeah.
by doing a challenge.
Yeah, you
Except
can
Black
unlock
Ops 4. Black Ops 4, you had to do the stupid Black Ops 3 garbage and buy a loot box or something like that.
Yeah. Now,
Mhm.
that's specifically why that's why I personally am preferring battle passes over those loot box transactions from Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4. Black Ops 3, it was a little much, but it wasn't too much to handle.
yeah.
Black Ops 4, it was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't like loot boxes. I am not a loot box fanatic.
You can earn the
I
loot
was-
boxes in fucking Black Ops 4, but the odds of you getting one of those guns was very slim. I think
Yeah, you had to
when
buy
I
one.
played Black Ops 4, I think I only got like two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black
Well,
Ops 4, I didn't
I
get
hate
shit.
gambling.
Black Ops 3, I got a bunch, but that's also because I paid a lot of money on that game. That's a different story. But
Totally different
yeah,
story.
for a while I did like loot boxes, but now I'm going away from that. I don't like that. I'm much more of a fan of battle passes. I know what I'm going to get. It makes it fun
Yep.
for that little grind. It makes me want to play the game more because, I paid into it
Yeah,
a
there's
little
a
bit
point,
more
yeah.
extra. And one of the other points that we forgot to mention is specifically games that are free.
Yep, free to play
So
games.
might as well pay. So might as well pay for the battle pass. Specifically, Rogue Company.
And in another example that might be controversial, but Fortnite.
Fortnite. Right.
Fortnite.
They're free to play games.
You can
So
play that game. I can play Fortnite right now if I want to. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I have put some money into Fortnite because I played the game a lot. I played the game a shit ton, and I feel like it's nice to support developers that put out games that I play a shit ton, right? But now that I don't play it, I probably would never buy V-Bucks again, right?
Correct.
But I could still go play Fortnite now for years if I wanted to, without giving them another penny.
exactly. But you already
But I
purchased a
feel like
battle pass, which you got enough money's worth out of it.
And if I did play for like another year and I really, really liked the game, I'd probably buy another battle pass.
You gotta
Exactly.
think about it too.
But-
The battle pass system's better because look at all the skins you get, and then look how much they charge for one skin.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
the XP boosts, the fucking in Rainbow Six Siege, you get alpha packs, like you said.
You
Isaac,
get some of your
like,
you get some of your money back.
yeah.
Some battle
points.
passes when you get to a certain point, it's like, hey, if you get to this point, then we'll either pay for your next battle pass, or when you buy the next battle pass, we'll give you so many extra levels because you already progressed so far.
Yeah.
But on top of all of this, you also have specifically like Rogue Company. That's a game that I really enjoy. I enjoy whenever we do get back into it, for those little bets. So I have no problem shelling $10 or so for the fucking battle pass, get a new character, get a couple skins or a couple new shits for a little bit. Play around.
Yeah,
Makes me
and
interested in the game for a bit.
Yeah,
And I have no problem supporting those developers.
Oh no!
Pretty fun game.
Plus $10 is like it's honestly nothing.
No, especially when
That
it's
means
Go to
I get-
work and work for an hour and boom, you got your $10 back.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. That means I can buy 4 seasons, and that is a $40 game, which I think that game would be worth. Anything that I give extra is just extra money to the game.
Just
But-
me saying, hey, devs, put in more new stuff that I can use.
Exactly.
Yeah, keep
And
adding
then-
to this game I love.
Exactly.
Go.
Then I check back next season, and sure as shit, something's new. I buy that character, and it's pretty fun.
Yeah, and we're like balling McQuallen, and I agree. I think that's great. Like, and I do think that is a good aspect of it because microtransactions for a while there were getting really predatory, and they were getting very like harmful to video game industry. They made a really bad taste in people's mouths. Whenever you heard about any kind of transaction in video games, people would be like,
Yeah, if microtransactions were physically hurting games, it would be sending them to the ER.
Yeah. Star Wars Battlefront 2. But
Star Wars Battlefront 2.
basically, it's like it was damaging the industry, and I think now that they've leaned more towards cosmetics, like optional cosmetics, and early access to guns and characters and stuff like that other people will be able to unlock. It will be available to other people. It's just the people who pay for it get it first, and with less effort. I think that's how
what it's
life
like
works.
in Siege.
Well, that's how life works.
If you, even with the year pass, so say you got the year pass and operator comes out, people who have that year pass or the battle pass now, got the operator a week early before, and once you got, once the week was
But that's
up,
the way that real life works.
Every other player can get it. They would have to pay like, I think it's like 25,000 reals.
Yeah,
for a new
25K renown
operator.
for a new op. Yeah,
If you
and
don't
that's
have
okay
the
because
battle
you
pass
can
or the
like,
year
and,
pass.
yeah, and that's okay because it means that if you want to, you can grind for it, which is fine. And like and if you don't, then you can like just not. Like you don't need to worry about it. Like and I'll probably eventually get the new operators, but not I'm not in a rush to because we don't play Siege as often anymore, right? And I don't really want to put too much money into it. But
Right. already have
But-
put way too much into it.
Exactly, but I do think that as long as
Isaac's like, I
microtransactions-
haven't put enough into it.
Yeah, as long as games aren't predatory and microtransactions aren't damaging towards the customer base or to the industry in general, then I'm cool with it. I think cosmetics are the best thing ever to happen to video games, because if you want your character to look a certain way, other
Make
than a
them look-
default character, then
Make them look fucking crazy. Who cares?
you pay some fucking money and you can make your character look like whatever
And-
the fuck you want.
Since we're
Go
on the
nuts.
topic of video game trends, as I think about it, there's a trend. Almost 70% of game developers do, no matter indie, AAA. And it
What's that?
pisses me off because
Yeah.
it's just a fucking repeat cycle
Yeah.
of an Easter egg from Back to the Future, Stephen King's It, Titanic.
You're not wrong. Those
Every
are
single
over-referenced.
those references are so overused that you might as well put it on the corners and call it a fucking prostitute.
But no, I
Okay.
know what you mean. I know what you mean. Like those, because a lot of people, it's like the meme thing. It's like certain things become popular in video game developing circles, and they're like, I'm gonna put an Easter egg in my game. And people will get that because it's popular.
balloon in the sewer.
Yeah, it's popular, and it's just like one of those things where it's an
annoying.
easy, it's an
It's
easy hit,
stupid.
right? It's a really easy hit, and then you got games like Just Cause 4 that are like, fuck your Easter eggs, and literally had the Easteriest Easter eggs ever, right? It had
Dude,
Take
Just
On Me
Cause-
from
Just
Aha,
Cause
it had
thr-
Get Over
Yeah, no,
It.
it's Just Cause 3.
Was that Just
Yeah,
Cause 3?
Take
Yeah,
Me
Just
Out.
Cause 3, yeah. Had Take On Me from Aha, it had the friggin' Get Over It and all kinds of shit like that,
if you
man.
go-
It's
if you go into a building, if you go through a door, it turns black and white, like it's color, like the music video for that song. It starts playing the
Jesus.
song. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, just cuz.
Yeah, just cause. And they have literally, there's a part where you go up to a pot with a pickaxe leaning against it, and you get into the pot, and it goes side scroller mode, and it's literally a version of the game Get Over It built into Just Cause.
That's fucking awesome.
It's ridiculous.
Um,
It's amazing, and that's
That's
like
why I enjoy those games, and I also enjoy the Hitman games because how many Easter eggs are in the Hitman games as well.
so many. Now, granted,
No.
they are guilty of the whole Easter egg.
They are guilty of it, but
But
they
they've
do
got more.
so much more.
Yeah, they do more.
That's
Yeah.
why I'm a fan of, well, the two that I'm a fan of. Shit. You just reminded me of one of them. And then Isaac had to say Hitman, and then I lost my train of thought.
Oh no. Oh no, 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 no.
No.
Speaking.
Okay, so you know what?
Oh, never mind.
Two different
Got
ones.
it now.
Okay,
Alright.
Skyrim and Borderlands.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Again, they're guilty of doing the cliche ones at the same time, but they also have other ones that are way fucking
Very
better.
unique and very
Right.
hilarious. Yeah, no, I agree.
Fucking the Super Mario Tunnel in Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Fucking just Penn and Teller in Borderlands 3.
Actually, fun fact. I was watching my other half play Animal Crossing the other day, and she had a Mario tube in her Animal Crossing world that brings her back to her house. Like she can go in
Yes.
it in her house, and it takes her outside, and it's the Mario tube. It bloop bloop bloops when she goes through it and everything, and she has a fire flower and a Mario star in her house that when you touch it, it does the dun 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 dun.
Actually,
I would be a lot more surprised if it wasn't for the fact that Animal Crossing is a Nintendo exclusive game. So.
I know, but but
Another-
still, it's just cool that it's in the game because it has
Another
nothing to do with
Easter egg.
Mario.
that's in actual Animal Crossing is there's a Discord Easter egg.
Oh, is there?
Yeah, Discord confirmed it and said, posted a picture of Animal Crossing. It's someone's PC set up in their house, and there's like a screen that has Discord. And Discord posted that picture and said, "We did it, guys! We made it!"
Oh, that's awesome.
And then
That's
there were
I'm gonna have to get the other half to
everybody's invites to the server.
I'm gonna have to get the other half to see if she can put up a PC setup on her island and see what happens.
Discord
popped
up.
Yeah,
Pretty
see if
cool,
Discord
actually.
pops up. That'd be pretty.
And then she
awesome.
can join our Discord at the Good Buds Podcast Discord.
It's true.
Check
It's
it
down
out.
there. Link down there in the description. It's,
And Animal
it's true. It's
Crossing.
there. We
Exactly.
might talk about
Oh.
Animal Crossing there.
No, we won't.
No, we probably. won't.
But anyway, yeah, I agree. The overused Easter eggs are shitty and cheesy, but when a game does Easter eggs right, it's pretty awesome.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It can make a game like elevated. Like I said, with Just Cause, like their Easter eggs elevate that game. Make it so much better. Like
For
like
me, it's the same thing with the Borderlands series.
Yeah.
Fucking
That's why I like
Easter egg.
some really cheesy, dumb games is because the Easter eggs, like Goat Simulator.
oh,
Being able to play
yes.
Flappy Goat.
Yes.
Flappy Goat. That's what I was trying to mention.
Yeah.
Fucking remembering.
Goat
the
Simulator.
Minecraft Easter egg and Goat
Oh
Simulator.
my god, yes.
Minecraft one, fucking.
The Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I love that. Like, I mean, there's so much to that game, and like, it literally, like, and it's a stupid game. It's one of the dumbest games ever, but just exploring and finding everything in the game was just so fun.
Oh yeah.
The first
Unbelievably
crew
fun.
game had a lot of Easter eggs, and you had to do a lot of them. A lot of
think I
challenges
played-
that would involve
yeah.
the Easter eggs, like find Bigfoot, find a unicorn. It's just some like crazy dumb Easter eggs that were just pointless.
Speaking of dumb, crazy, and pointless, that leads me on to my next point.
Oh yeah, the point that Shank wanted to get to. For sure.
Leads me on to my next point. Fucking 16-bit and 8-bit fucking video games being made in 2021 still, when we've had a bajillion of them made.
Yes. The fucking boom of retro indie games.
Now, don't get me wrong. I love
There
a
are
lot
some
of
good
them.
ones.
I love a lot of them. Like, I got addicted to fucking Rogue Legacy.
Terraria.
Like, I played Terraria. Like, I've fallen in love with more than a few of these kind of games. Hell, I've gone back and replayed the old Castlevania games that were redone and, like, just done with better graphics.
We played that one game, 99 Vitas, when it was free for PlayStation.
Absolutely. And so, it's like, I don't mind, like, that style of game, but the market became absolutely fucking saturated with them. We ended up having like
Overly saturated.
hundreds of indie developers that just fell into that default style.
Every once in a while, like every blue moon, I could see it, but not like.
Yeah, every once in a while you got a Binding of Isaac or
Yeah.
a Super Meat Boy or a fucking Undertale. Every
Yeah.
once in a while you got one of those. But because of those popularities, everyone's like, well, we can make these games for cheap and
Oh yeah, we.
And I
could
ended
do
up
it,
seeing,
too.
and I like, to be fair, I'm not gonna lie, I have RPG Maker on my computer, and I made a game myself. Like, not full game, it's still a work in progress, but I made part of a game that looks like 90% of what was coming out at one point. It's like the same isometric top-down fucking map-based kind of like mishmash of a
style,
JRPG with like
or a
Western side scroller style or something like, and it's like they all looked like they were made in like RPG Maker, but now don't get me wrong, like it looked like a group of dedicated people worked hard on them and everything else, but they all looked the same and played the same.
Indie games are. Don't get me wrong. It's not all indie games because some indie games are very artsy and look great. Like,
Yeah.
Like I like the way Cuphead looks.
Yeah, or Limbo,
Like-
for example.
I like the old style cartoon graphics they did with Cuphead.
Oh yeah. Fucking I like when they have different styles like that, it's
Or
definitely
Little
adds a lot more.
Nightmares or something like that.
Right. But those are unique games that have dynamic and depth. They're not 8-bit, 16-bit games and shit like that.
Exactly. So, but that's why like so many games were coming out that where they'd try to like they'd try to tweak mechanics that were made in 1980s video games. They'd take like a 1980s video game and they'd be like, all right, so let's tweak these a little bit so that it's like a little more modern, but not too modern because we want people to buy it based on their nostalgia. And it's like, man, like video games should be based on like fun and gameplay, and we can do ridiculous things with graphics on potatoes nowadays with things. So it's like, and Unreal Engine, what I like now though is since Unreal Engine 5 came out, the new Unreal Engine, a
Right.
lot of independent developers realized how easy it is to develop a really good looking game in Unreal with very little effort with a small team. And so they're moving on to Unreal. They're moving back to Unreal Engine because for a few
Right.
years there, it was Unreal Engine was a huge hit, lots of games. But then people petered off of
course.
that, and now it's coming back with Unreal 5, and people are making these badass fucking like
I remember.
tech games that you're like, what?
I remember.
For
when
example,
Unreal Engine
Shank's
4 came
one of
out.
for example, one of Shank's favorite games, Valheim.
Yep, one of my favorite. Yep, Actually, that's Unity. That runs in Unity engine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, oddly enough, Valheim runs in Unity, and that's another thing too. Is Unity, because of Unity, that's another thing that took people out of the 16-bit and 18 like 8-bit and stuff mindset, because you can make
Unity
things that
makes it
look
easy.
decent. Unity makes things look good, and it optimizes gameplay and stuff like that, and
They
optimizes game mechanics.
function well as well.
Yeah, and it's a very functional system. So a lot of people started developing for Unity, and like that's one of my favorite games of all time now is Valheim, and it's made with Unity, and it runs fantastic.
But yeah, with Unreal, Unity is being a lot easier now for these companies to make not even photorealistic, but just relatively
quality.
real. What I would like to personally, what I would like to see now is if indie games are going to start coming out, I want them to start coming out with the nostalgia of what it was like 20 years ago or 10 years ago when the trend started.
Yeah.
Which, when it started back then, it was 8-bit. Then it moved to like the 16-bit retro era. Now I want the polyagonal 64-bit era.
Yeah.
I want N64 looking polygonal games that still have platforming, camera movement.
Like
you
the
know.
pointy boobed Lara Croft.
Exactly. Make pointy boob Lara Croft games. Make Ocarina of Time style games. Fucking
See, but what I
Ocarina of
like
Time
that
is
they're
still a
doing-
fucking great game.
What I like that they're doing though is that they're taking those games that we loved back then that looked like polygonal and everything else, and like to us at the time they looked incredible, right? But they're taking those and they're remaking them to look 2021 HD Unreal Engine graphics with the same gameplay. Like, you know, like the Spyro series, my fucking god. I'm not a huge Spyro fan. My other half is the biggest Spyro fan in the world. I love the game, but I never got huge into it. But looking at the side-by-side comparison, they're the same
Fucking
games.
Unreal.
Crash Bandicoot.
And Crash Bandicoot.
One, yeah.
Same
I
thing.
actually own the Insane trilogy.
And
Nitro Team Racing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, these games
And I'm okay with them
fell
giving
into
me the same game, just looking better.
Exactly.
I'm fine with that.
I like the fucking fact that they did HD remakes for Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. I hate that they're only for DS. If they were for Switch, I would have already bought them by now.
You can
but they-
torrent those on your PC. I can show you how.
I already know I can, but
It's called Dolphin.
I thought that only ran up to Wii U.
No.
Oh,
Runs DS
Okay.
games too.
Son of a
that's all Nintendo
bitch.
games, even GameCube and my ass.
I'll be on uTorrent later.
You don't need uTorrent for it at all. You can
This
literally
episode is
download
sponsored by NordVPN. No, I'm just joking.
Yeah.
It's not.
Download Dolphin and you
I
can
need to
download
torrent the
the.
game.
You don't need to torrent the games at all. You can just download the.
Okay, we don't need to talk about this
Yeah,
on
we
the
can
podcast.
talk about
So
this
anyway-
later. Yeah, we can talk about this later.
Okay,
But,
so
first
trends
you
in
open up Windows Explorer.
Okay, so trends in video games, stealing from the companies.
Oh yes, that's good. Trends in video games. Okay, so now I think industry stealing isn't a big thing now. Like I think people like games, the modern games coming out, they don't seem to be ripping each other off. Because when I saw Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice coming out, and I saw Shadows of Sushi Ghost coming out, or Ghost of Sushi Mama.
You mean
coming
goddamn
out.
Mongolians?
Yeah, the goddamn Mongolians game. And so I saw it coming out. I was like, man, these games are gonna be like almost identical. Like but they didn't steal any mechanics from each other. They're like completely unique,
One's a Souls
amazing,
type, and then the other
Yeah.
one's free
strange,
roam
amazing,
RPG like.
strange,
That's
amazing open world free roam sword fighting techniques game where you get to follow foxes around and make wicked poems.
Yes. But
I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but she ain't messing with.
and it's
Who
and
is
it's
she messing with?
and we are all out of time here on the podcast. I do have one more
Family
bong
Guy
pack right
reference.
here.
Yeah. And I have a
I
bong
know.
pack right here.
Oh, we're out of time, Isaac.
We're out of time, Isaac. We're out of time for Family Guy references.
I'm out of time for your shit.
More shenanigans!
Well, I'm out of time too, and I have to take a shit.
Well, I'm out of time, and I have had to pee since before the podcast.
I have shit now. So,
Yep.
with all that being said, Thank you, buds, for listening.
Yeah, thanks so much. We really appreciate you being here. This is an awesome conversation. Thanks for joining us for it. I would like to remind you to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you see this podcast or hear this podcast. We really appreciate you. And check out our YouTube channel. Links below. Just click them, check them out. It helps us out.
Exactly. All the shits, whatevers. It is time. Let us, for the final time, blaze it. Tokes, shkaboke.
Tokes, smoke.
Ooh. I'm smoking that sweet, sweet tiramisu.
And I am smoking on that sloppy skunk.
And we have been joined by Good Buds Isaac. This has been video game industry conversation. Fuck, I'm getting high again. Okay. Buds, we're gonna roll one for the road, and we will see you next week on the Good Buds podcast.
Yes, later, buds.